So you one thing you did say you wanted to talk about a lot was a bit of like mental health kind of thing.
Yes, I am very, very passionate about it. I have a lot of friends who sort of suffer with a lot worse issues than me. I have my own, of course, everyone does. So I think it took me way too long to sort of realize that it's like, okay, you have, like, everyone's got their own issues, right? Some are bigger than others, but, like, at no point should any person be like, you're suffering more than I am, therefore I'm not allowed to talk about my suffering.
Cool.
Because, like, it's lesser. No, like, everyone has their own thing. Like, everyone should listen to each other, everyone should talk. Because, like, I personally have suffered with, like, stupidly severe anxiety my entire life. Went to therapy at, like, 7 years old. And, like, nowadays, like, working in hospitality sort of ripped me out of that shell a little bit, so it's a lot better, like, a lot easier to be, like, super extroverted and fun and stuff. And I have a lot of fun doing it, so it's like, all right, whatever. But, for the most part, like, I'll be at home and be like, all right, cool. Thank God I live on my own now, because even with living with other people became hard for me, because, like, I'd be anxious that I'd be pissing them off, or if they weren't talking to me, something was going on. There was a tension in the room at all times.
Just always like something in your head.
Yeah,
like something's going on.
I lived with people who had, like, issues where to the point where they wound up in the ward.
Yeah, okay.
And like I had to break lease and all that sort of stuff. Obviously not dropping names for the sake of that, but
of course.
I'm still friends with the guy as well. Legend went through the whole like therapy sort of rehab process, is doing incredibly well for himself.
Good.
But like all that sort of stuff. And then I live with two more people after that who suffered with heavy issues as well. And me being a bit of like a product of my environment, I sort of absorb that around me. So it's sort of like I spend a lot of time in my room because like I don't want to like bother anyone. I don't want to, like, I've just got to process all of my own stuff. And I'm actually like, I'm a bit more of like, I'm a very social person, but I also love time to myself. So it's sort of like trying to go in between both at the same time just rips me apart. And yeah, I'm starting a project that's coming in 2023, hopefully at some point throughout that year with Enoch. That's like, that's all I'm going to say. That's like based around that.
Just based around that.
That's dope.
We're looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the biggest thing in that though, like, I've never, I guess I have felt similar. I've suffered through anxiety my whole life as well. Different anxiety. When I was young, I couldn't be away from my house. I used to can't be staying at people's houses or anything like that. To the point where I went to watch a grand final game with my dad in Sydney.
True.
Where I was so scared I was going to get sick. That's like my thing. I was like, I was sick away from home.
I'm still scared of being sick, man. Yeah.
But I was like sick away from home. But I decided I didn't eat for 4 days.
That's crazy.
Eat anything.
That's
I didn't
crazy.
eat anything for 4 days. Because I was but then I was like vomiting, but I wasn't vomiting.
Yeah,
I felt I was going to vomit. So it was like it was all anxiety to the whole thing because I was scared I was going to get sick, and I got myself sick. Then I just didn't eat.
From not eting anything.
Yeah, well, I it was whack.
Yeah,
but like with the whole like social thing, it's like I don't know, like, did it stem from anywhere, or like it just kind of like, is that a thing?
I think it's like, honestly, it's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Because my mum and my dad both suffer like crazy anxieties of their own kind. But also, I guess, growing up with split parents from like the moment you could remember, it's sort of like having to go backwards and forwards constantly. And like my parents split up in like the best way anyone could ever ask for. Like anytime I've ever talked to anyone who's like going through divorce with their parents, it's like ugly.
Messy as,
Like my mum and my dad are still like best mates.
That's cool.
Like, which is wicked. And my stepmom, who is a beautiful person as well, like loves it. Is all here for it. Like I've never seen anything like it in my life. And I fucking love it. My family's awesome.
It's the best way to be.
Yeah.
You're very lucky.
Bit of a flex. But it's kind of like that. I will happily take it because it's like, man, I will count my blessings on that sort of stuff. But like, I think it was for me just being like having to go from the moment go, just being like, all right, you either have to be here or there. At all times, and then dealing with school and like, I actually said to someone who I work with the other day, we were talking about school and how much it sucked and we didn't like school and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, man, school was awful for me. Like, I was like a very lame kid. Didn't really take a lot of pride in my own appearance. I was very gullible and stupid, and like, I stuck to myself because I didn't really understand too many social cues that well. I think I may be on the spectrum to some degree. I don't know. But like, I just didn't develop properly and understand like social awareness until I was like an adult. Basically.
Yeah, of course.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing, like being on the spectrum and then also having a lot of anxiety and depression problems as well. It's a massive thing. Like, a lot of people like sit there and will will like be super depressive or anxious, not what's going on. A lot of time it is because they're on the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly.
And also ADHD as well is like two massive causes.
They're huge.
Well, it's crazy that you talk about that because like from my perspective, bro, like coming from a family that like I'm from Sri Lanka and stuff like that. But, like in Sri Lanka, bro, like it's like everything's hard and you go through like heaps of hardships. So like it's like mental health's like something I never really learnt about until I came to Australia, bro. Like like.
Because it's like we're so open about
all that stuff like that, bro. Like anxiety, I didn't even know that was a thing, bro, until I came to Australia.
Yeah,
and like only recently now that I'm starting to like understand that that's a major thing in like a lot of majority of people's lives.
It's literally everywhere.
100%,
like, it's
bro.
Well, I mean, I think everyone is affected by it, even if by themselves or not. I think like everyone kind of is affected by it nowadays. Yeah, it's a massive thing.
Yeah, like I mean, and social media doesn't help because it's a highlight.
No, of course not.
But like, because like my friend said to me, I was like, yeah, you know, I was like, I suffered crazy anxiety. I never really fit in that well. I was kind of picked on for a little bit in high school, and I kid you not, she turns to me and she goes, "Yeah, fucking sure you were," like as if I was lying, and because of who I am now. And I'm like a whole different person, and it's just like. It's really hard. I know it's kind of hard to believe because I'm a very social person. I'm a DJ. I fucking know everything. Like, I walk into a club and 15 people turn around and just go, dude, it's good to see you. And I fucking love it. Like, but it's because I've spent like the last 5 years networking and meeting beautiful people. Yeah. And like getting into the scene and like I fucking love my community. But like, it's like in school in a small rural town that you don't have that. No. You don't have the opportunity to sort of tear yourself out of your shell like hospitality has done for me. Yeah. So like I was a very, very different person back then, but it's so wild that people are like, yeah, sure, you were the kid that got picked on. Like, you know, you throw parties, you're like the cool guy, you're the DJ, and it's like it's a whole different world.
You can never judge a book by its cover.
It's a whole different chapter, and like as I said, like social media doesn't help because you just see a highlight reel because everyone just wants you to.
Well, everyone wants to see the best parts. Yeah, but even in that, like. You look at the stats, like, I don't know what the stats are, but there's more, obviously, males that commit suicide than there are females.
That's a big thing.
That's massive.
That's a huge thing.
And obviously no one talks, no one wants to talk about it, but, you know, you talk to, like, and even on top of that, tradies are the people that commit more suicide than any other people in the world. Yeah. Like, I am a tradie, but I used to be like a tradie on a big site. Yeah. And I've seen like 3 people fucking just gone from the day. And they're all people you never expect.
Yeah, and it's always the people you don't expect, right?
Yeah. Like, but it comes down to the male ego, bro. Like, as a dude, bro, like you don't want to talk about that stuff. And like personally, me, bro, like Harry talks about therapy all the time. He's like, that's the biggest.
This is what we need, though. Like, you need to be open about that sort of stuff. Have massive
like,
conversations about it.
I appreciate it as much as I hang shit on him. Like, I appreciate it.
We talk shit with Harry's therapist.
You know what I mean? But like,
it's mad noble.
But like, I've never been open to it. You know what I mean?
It's like it takes us so much strength and courage to do that. Which, by the way, good on you. I'm super proud of you. Thank you.
But bro, like, I've never been like open to therapy or talking about my feelings or you know what I mean? Like, even accepting the fact that like I could be having depression or anxiety or feeling those type of mental health type of ways, you know what I mean? And that just comes down to like the male ego, you know. We're always taught from young, bro. Like
like it's just sort of like you don't realize it when you're a kid that you're not supposed to do that. Or like you know the stereotype is you have to be big and strong. You gotta, you gotta stand up tall. You gotta drive fast cars, go hard, all that bullshit. Like
that's it.
Nah, like it's not. Yeah, especially in rural country.
You gotta drink Bundaberg rum.
Yeah, go rub beers, boys. Because like my father figure is obviously a farmer sort of dude. Like my dad would love nothing more than to just live off the grid with the bare essentials and just fly planes and shoot guns.
That'd be sick.
That sounds awesome. That sounds wicked.
That's Harry's dream right there.
Fuck. To deal with the bullshit. I'm the polar opposite because I want fucking everything in the world. But
I want an aircon. I want TV.
I want 2 of the fucking world.
Like the